Njanji, we spoke to you a few hours ago. It's evening now, it's dark, and I'm just wondering what developments have taken place in the last few hours?
Yeah, what is happening at the moment is that police are being redeployed to the various hot spots. As you know, that these activities of burning and vandalizing schools happen in the shadow of the dark. So as we speak right now, police are being redeployed from Vuwani police station. There are lots of police nyalas here that are going out to the various corners of the different villages. The place is very vast. Most of the places is very dark. So police are going out. They are in full force here in Vuwani.
We spoke earlier and you said that one of the challenges that the police have is the barricading of roads with all sorts of objects that the protesters have put. Are they still there? Have the police been trying to clear the roads to get access to these areas?
So far, we have not seen police clearing the roads. We didn't see anything of that sort of clearing of the roads. Even for ourselves, to go and access some of the areas, it was very difficult because the car that we're using is a sedan. I think here it's nyalas that can be able to move around with ease. If you have a very small car, it becomes very difficult. I even saw some of the taxis finding it very difficult to operate, to ferry the passengers to and from town. As you know, that there was a complete shut down in this area, and in the past 2 days, we saw the community being allowed to go to do their shopping again, and there's also talk of that this shutdown will be effective again tomorrow. We are also told that a high-powered government delegation will descend here on Vuwani tomorrow to come and assess the situation, Peter.
Does it seem like the police are in control? I mean, you know, we've been discussing the challenges that they're facing in this vast area that they need to manage.
Yes, it's very vast. Some of the community members that are concerned about the situation are calling for more redeployment. Well, moving around a few minutes ago, we saw police at almost every corner here in Vuwani. But some community members are not certain if this is enough a redeployment, because they are asking themselves that in the midst of this high deployment, why is it that these activities are still being carried out in the dead of night, Peter?
So many protesters are still trying to carry on with this protest action, but I would imagine there are many that are living in fear, Njanji.
Yes, people are speaking in hushed tones here. Seeing us as the SABC with our cameras, trying to get comments from them. People don't want to go on camera and speak out of fear of being victimized. As you know, here we're dealing with a very sensitive issue of demarcation. You'll remember a month ago there was the demarcation issue from Malamulele, and now we're talking about the demarcation issue over here. But some of the people talking about raising the issue of the tribal issue. Yesterday, we had the leader, some of the leaders saying they do support what the community is calling for, and also denying that this is in fact a tribal issue. Some observers saying that there are possibly a third force that is behind this. There are people that stand to lose politically and economically by this municipality falling into another area, Peter.
All right, so the police are dealing with the immediate threat of violence. There's a high-powered delegation on its way to try and manage the situation. But have the authorities given any kind of indication on how this situation is going to be resolved? Because clearly at the end of it, they're going to have to deal with this whole demarcation story.
The demarcation issue, Peter, is a typical South African story. Many years ago, I covered the crisis in Kusong. We know the issues of Matatiele and other areas where the demarcation struggles have been fought before. We will be hearing from them tomorrow as they descend here to Vuwani to come and assess the situation. they will possibly give us a way forward. What is concerning for most parents is the education of the children. As you know, that this area, some of the areas, the villages here, live under dire situations. Some people don't have water. So the question of education is very important and key. So if you are abandoning schools, you are destroying schools, you are destroying the future of the children. And that's what we've been hearing many parents or community leaders raising those kind of concerns, Peter.
And in fact, perhaps finally, I guess there's sort of mass destruction of property. Thankfully, it seems that there are no reports of injuries to persons.
Yeah, so far we've not heard of anyone that has been killed or injured. But Peter, some people, it's difficult for them to operate. People are being threatened in some areas. And what I saw at Abatondi Primary School was quite shocking to me as a parent and as someone who previously did stay in an area not very far from here. As a teenager, I did come and study here for about 2 years. So it was shocking to see some of the most simple schools that have been gutted here. I mean, it's difficult to get an education around these areas. Mostly it's communities that have to come forward, put money together and build some of these schools. So if the schools are destroyed, what is going to become of the education of our children?
All right, we're going to have to leave it there, but thank you very much for giving us that update. That's Njanji Chauke, who's on the ground in Vuwani, covering that story for us. And as he says, a lot of this activity is taking place in the dead of night, where access to roads has been made difficult by certain barricades that the protesters have put down. So it'll probably be another long night in that area.